Good morning, everyone. It's good to be with you this morning on this Monday morning. The sun is shining, the birds are nowhere to be found, even though there's food in the feeder. And this morning I'm drinking a little water. I finished my cup of coffee already this morning. I had a little vanilla hazelnut, and we moved on to a glass of water this morning. Well, I'm glad you're here this morning. It's Monday morning, and for a lot of folks around here, it's the Monday after. Yes, it's the Monday after graduation. And it's that moment in time when you go from being a senior in high school to, well, not being a senior in high school. But you aren't a freshman yet, you haven't started classes, and maybe you don't have a job yet, or you haven't started your military career, or whatever it is that your next option is. All of a sudden, overnight, we've lost our identity because we're no longer a high schooler, we're now something else. Or perhaps you lost your job. And overnight, you went from introducing yourself as a mechanic or an engineer or a teacher, and now you flounder. You know, we can all lose our sense of identity pretty easily if our sense of identity is tied to something temporal, something that changes, like our status in school, our grade, our occupation, our familial role. I'm a parent, I'm a grandparent, I'm a son, I'm a daughter, whatever your role is. Those things are all temporal. But there's a role that's eternal. And I think that part of the issue that our world struggles with, and our Western culture for sure, is our identity. You see, our identity seems to be caught up in us. And when we struggle to find identity, we come up with new ways to identify ourselves, new titles, new genders, new whatever, so that we can find some identity. But the reality is, if we really want an identity that lasts, an identity that is certain to be with us, and an identity in which we can, quite honestly, boast, we are children of God. 1 John 3:1 reads, "See what kind of love the Father has given us, that we should be called children of God." And so we are. Have you thought about that? On this Monday morning, the Monday after, you're a child of God. Next time someone asks you to introduce yourself, men, I know where you start. You start by saying your name and occupation. It's just what we do. Women, I know how you start. You start with your name and your familial role. I'm the mother of 3. I'm the husband of 1. It's just what you do. But what if we all found our identity first and foremost as a child of God? First and foremost as that one marked in baptism with the sign of the cross, both upon the forehead and the breast, to mark you as one redeemed by Christ the crucified. Isaiah says, "I have called you by name, you are mine." Those are God's words. We are now a child of God, an heir of eternity. So maybe the next time you introduce yourself, whether it's a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday, give them your name and then say, "And I'm a child of God. I'm an heir of the kingdom." And everything else after that, whatever you want to mention. Well, I hope that your Monday morning as a child of God, as an heir of eternity, as a forgiven, redeemed, blood-bought soul of the risen and ascended Christ, gives you some purpose and focus and joy and delight today. And I hope that you can live this day in that lavished love. I love the way NIV puts it. See what kind of love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called the children of God. And that is what we are. But then the verse goes on and it says, the reason the world does not know us is it did not know him. So the first thought of the world is not to call you a child of God, but to call you unemployed or underemployed or whatever it is, short or too tall or overweight, or those titles are all temporal and they don't matter. So live today with an explanation and a title that makes people want to know more. Hey, by the way, this is Pastor Craig McCourt, and I am a child of God. Have a great week. We'll see you tomorrow. No, really, I'll be back tomorrow. We'll do this again.